Welcome to the Swedish Watch channel. Today I will be speaking English because my guest is from Florida. She's now living in Sweden and she's the chief storyteller of this gaming company called Minecraft. Not only that, she's a great photographer and the first female watch collector on the channel. I'm so happy and proud to present to you Lydia Winters. Right, super happy to have you here, Lydia.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great. Finally.
Yes,
finally,
yes.
finally.
I'm always bad picking dates and times, so I'm very glad you kept saying, come on.
Come on, come on. Believe it or not, you're the first female watch collector on the channel.
Whoa, okay.
So I have to chase you.
Yes, but that's very exciting and not the last,
no.
so that will be awesome.
Yeah. Let's start with a wrist check then.
Yeah.
What do you have today?
So I'm wearing my yellow OP, and this one is very new. Even though it retired in March, I was able to get one through my AD. So I was very, very excited. Yeah. I got it maybe 2 weeks ago. So it was a very big surprise that I was able to get one. And I found that I loved the turquoise so much, like photographing it, that I really wanted another color. Nice
photos you take on the Instagram.
Thank you. Now I want all the colors, but I don't think that's realistic. But they're just so easy to photograph and so bright. It like makes me feel very inspired. Really so I went all yellow today. It's like my only yellow things are this and this. Nice.
Yeah, I'm wearing my...
I was about to say, what about you?
This is my latest. It's Tudor.
Oh!
It's the Black Shield Fast Rider.
That's so cool. I've never seen this one before.
No.
Oh,
it's a unique watch. It's a collaboration with the motorcycle company Ducati.
I didn't realize. I did not see that one. That's so cool. That is really beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I like.
I used to change watch every day, but this one has been on for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm really bad. Whatever's newest is always on, and then occasionally I'm like, oh yeah, I have other watches. Yeah. This one is so cool. I wouldn't have known it was a Tudor at first glance, which I think is really interesting. Then they got the DNA of Ducati too and Tudor.
Exactly.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So you're from Florida, right?
Yes, I am from Florida.
And why Sweden?
I moved to Sweden 11 years ago in December to work on the video game Minecraft. So that was why I moved, and then I just love it here, so I keep staying. Yeah,
cool. You have to hook me up with gaming. I haven't started that yet.
Yeah, okay. Takes a lot of time, like watches. But very fun, very worth it.
Yeah. Let's dive into your collection.
Yeah. Here we go. So this is not all of the watches, but I picked out the ones that I thought were the most fun for today. And kind of a variety and different ones that I feel like, represent me. This one's upside down, so we can put that the correct way.
Nice. Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, go from the first one then.
Okay, I guess, so this is the watch that I think started everything for me, the Cartier Tank Solo. Yeah. And
how did it all start?
Yeah, so my partner Vu had gotten me a tag Heuer before, and I wore it a bit, but I just, I wore it off and on. Yeah. And then in 2014, he was like, well, how about you'll pick out the watch, and then you can get anything you want. And so we went to Neiman's in Stockholm, and so, it just like felt so special. And of course, Cartier, like it's something I've heard so much of. It's like probably I only knew Cartier and Rolex at the time, and I was like, but a Cartier would be so perfect. And so when I picked this watch, I fell in love with it. I knew that I was getting it for Christmas, but I still cried when I opened the box, and I just felt like I never thought I would have a Cartier. So then, my my Sambo, my partner Vu, he's very much like, so what's the next watch that you want? And I was like, but this is the perfect watch. Like I was wearing it every day. I just loved it. It was like it reignited wearing a watch all the time and like using that for time.
And you thought you didn't need another one,
Yeah,
right?
of course, of course. I was like, no, don't ask. I don't want anything else. And then a month later, we were gonna travel up to see the Northern Lights. And you know what you don't wear is a rose gold Cartier. And so I said, look, don't freak out, but I would like to go look at buying a Rolex. And he was like, oh, it was like a Sunday night. He's like, no, okay, we're going tomorrow morning right away. And then that's when I bought this one, my Date Just. And it actually was on the oyster bracelet.
Okay.
And I just recently changed it to the Jubilee just because I felt that since I had been, you know, collecting some nice oyster perpetuals, that it would like reinvigorate it for me, and it absolutely has, because it feels like now it has the look of something that's much more vintage than it is.
Yeah.
You know, it immediately looks a bit like, what time period is this from? But it's only 2015, but it suddenly, it changed it so much. But that watch is, I would say I had a perfect 2-watch collection. Like this watch for anything formal, and then that for anywhere in the world was like it would have been a great place to stop.
this dial really pops out.
I looked at a couple different dials, and I think at the time a Jubilee would have been too much for me, because, you know, I wanted something that was just very simple, very sporty. So obviously with the white dial, it's just like very low key. And I've worn that watch all over the world, Vietnam, Nepal, kind of Kosovo, everywhere. That's the watch that has traveled the most with me, and it's just so easy to have on. Looks, you know, a little different now with the Jubilee, a little more, you know, noticeable, but with the oyster bracelet, it just always felt like just this perfect one. That's why it's still probably my 2-watch perfect collection if I had to pick.
I think so.
And yeah, of course. And then when I mean, now I'm probably, maybe I'm going in some sort of order, but then the Nomos, Vu and I really like, out of Germany, they're just great watches with wonderful price points and
great designs.
Like beautiful designs. And this one he got me for my 30th birthday, so 5 years ago. And I loved it because it was also square. And so obviously working on Minecraft, it's like that little nod. So I've worn that a lot during our different shows or interviews where I'm on stage, because it's a square watch and it's just done classic. So well. It's
sober.
I mean, it's just beautiful. And I like that they have this very, you know, it's a very modern, and you can also we can take them off of here. But it just has, it's like classic, but it has a little bit of being modern in just the dial having just a tiny bit of texture. I just really love that one. So that's like my Nomos that I'm most excited about. I have a few of them, but that's the one that like, it's just so cool, the Tetra.
And why is it so much fun with watches then, do you think?
Oh, I think to me, I've always been someone who has very different styles. So I like to be casual or to dress up or, you know, to wear color or dark clothes, and just like kind of depending on my mood. And I think watches are an even better expression of that, which is like, how do I feel today, or how do I want to feel today? And so I love that, you know, if I have something that I'm maybe more nervous about, I typically go with the Cartier tank because Vu gave it to me, and so it's just like, you know, it feels
good.
You know, and if I want to be like, I'm a boss, I go with the, you know, the GMT Master 2, and if I want to be, you know, casual, it just like, it allows you to, I don't know, it's something so intimate about having something that you look at on your wrist all the time, because even with your clothes, you don't interact with them the same way, because maybe you look in the mirror a few times a day, or you could like look down, but this is like, you see it in all its glory all the time. So yeah, I've gone watch obsessed.
Great answer, great answer. So
And then, I mean, now it's like a mix of time periods, but I think probably, like if I'm going in some sort of acquisition order, in 2020, like just before the pandemic, Vu and I went to Vietnam because that's where he has some family there still. And then we were going on a work trip to Tokyo. And actually it was my 5-year service for the Rolex. So as a watch person, any excuse will do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I should get something,
like
you know, something different.
To wear abroad. To
wear abroad. And, you know, I need a watch and it's unfortunately the timing isn't going to work out to get that back. And so the Tudor Mini Sub, I just love this little fun, wonderful watch. And it's, you know, has the oyster case back from Rolex. It has the Rolex crown. So it's just a really fun special piece. And I really hope that more watch brands like start doing this dive watch in smaller sizes because I think that there's definitely becoming more of a market for it because even, you know, I wear all different size watches, but it's nice to be able to have a dive watch that's smaller and just like it's easy to wear. So I think that one is such a cool watch. That's really like one of
really cool.
It's one of those where most people haven't seen one, and I really like that. You know, it's not very common, and I don't have very many vintage watches, and that's where, or you know, neo vintage, and that one is one I just think is really fun, and it's that style that feels unique. And also I love that it's called a mini sub. Like, I mean, that's a really cute name.
It's a cute name, right? And it also says on the dial there.
Yeah, that part I think is it's really fun. And, you know, I don't think Tudor will, you know, they've stayed away from anything Submariner, but I'm always like, oh, it would be so nice if they made these again because they're just really, it's just really, nice. It's cute. And I mean, it's really fun to time things too. Like I do love using it, especially on vacation. I mean, it was for like, how long have I been swimming? But it still feels fun to use it. And, you know, I went and had it checked obviously before the trip to make sure, you know, that it was sealed and everything was fine. So it's like, I wore this in the, you know, swimming around in Vietnam and in Tokyo, and it just, I think it has such a fun, cool
May I ask where the price range is for a watch like that?
I think it was around 30,000 crowns, but I'm not positive. No. I'm always converting back and forth. But they've gone up in price now, which obviously because I think, you know, as more people get into watches, then more like different sizes of watches that have been, that are in the past kind of become better. But I just think that one's one of my most fun watches, I think. I love it so much.
Great one.
And it was also like right before the pandemic, so it really got to go on a good trip. And then it was like, okay, now we're at home alone. And then this one is fun. This is a Seiko collaboration that they did with Rowing Blazers. And Eric Wind, who's a really amazing collector in the US and someone that I've, you know, kind of casually talked to on Instagram. He was a partner in working with Rowing Blazers and Seiko, and he actually helped me get this one because he had a few, and so I was just really excited about it because I hadn't had a Seiko before, and I think they're just really great for the money. And it's really fun to wear. Like this is my like mountain biking watch, and just
I got it.
It has that just a really fun feel, and I liked you know, these were a limited edition, I think 500 of each one, and it just felt like a good time to finally pick one up.
Love the bezel.
Yeah, that's what I really loved. I was like, this racing, it looked very different from anything in my collection, and I definitely, you know, have a very wide range of things, tastes. And again, it's back to like what you want to feel like that day.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
this is like more
A little bit
badass
like a
and
candy
fun.
store.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, today I feel fancy,
Yeah.
or today I feel like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, race around on my bike. And I just think it's fun to have that variety.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, loving Cartier. This is the tank moussed in green, but I added the bracelet to it.
Okay.
So I love the green, the green strap too. But I thought it would be really fun to. I had seen one person only post like a mock-up of how this looked with the bracelet.
Yeah.
And it's actually a newer version of their bracelet, and so I ordered it, and it like transformed how it looks. It looks completely different.
Yeah,
so
of course.
The thing I love is with that one, it's so easy to change from the bracelet to the strap. So it's really 2 watches that I can bring on a trip and just like have this variety. And I've taken it on a few of the trips that I've taken, and we could also clean it. It's probably really, I'm a little fingerprint magnet here.
It's really clean and cool.
It's a really cool, I just fell in love with the colors, and I mean, I still go back and forth to this day, like, did I pick the right color with green? Because the blue and the burgundy are also so beautiful, but green's my favorite color.
But you can
so
get those two then, as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And the crown is beautiful.
Yeah, I just think it's a really, you know, I have the super classic tank, so I love what Cartier is doing right now of keeping a classic look, but they're also really thinking about their, you know, people who like watches, and I loved that release last year, and I just was like, I have to have one.
Oh, I'm so into Cartier as well.
Yeah,
the Santos.
They're just amazing. Yeah, I know, me too. I'm always looking at it every time, like, oh, so they're just really great watches, and I think they do a wonderful job to me of being, you know, there's a reason why a lot of women that I know, Cartier is the first brand they start with that gets them into watches, and I think it's because of obviously like the brand, you've heard of Cartier, but I also think it's that they're trying to be like accessible and open in the way that like on their website they have these great tutorials that show you like what is a crown and what is a case back and what's the you know, and it's like those are things that you don't know if you're just starting in watches. And so I love that approach of like, oh, here's what it is. You don't have to know. We're gonna tell you what it is. And you know, they've even started like a Cartier watch community Instagram recently, and they're like, oh, this is how the guilloche process works. And that's an approach that's really nice because as people get deeper into the brand and learn things, like it's really cool. You feel involved, and they're highlighting amazing women collectors. So I think they're doing awesome things. I'm a big Cartier fan.
Maybe they knock on your doors and they want you to
that's the dream.
To be the ambassador.
That's the dream. Yeah, they're just, but I love them, and I definitely see a lot more Cartiers in my future. Yeah. And then we move into the Rolex side of things here. And I think the next one was this turquoise, which I will say I'm very team. This is not Tiffany. Like Tiffany is much more like green. Yeah. This has much more blue to it. I could really, it's so dirty though. Now I'm really, this is not good. I should, I've been wearing them so much. But that one, I was not interested at all when I saw the original photos. The same with the yellow. I was like, okay, it's cool that Rolex is doing colors, but at the time, I actually kind of felt that an OP and a Datejust were, you know, the same. Yeah. I was like, they're close enough, and they are close enough, but they do offer a different vibe and feeling. Like when you have, I love having the date because it's more useful, but not having the date just allows you to have this clean dial, and especially with the colors, I think it's so beautiful. So the first time when I actually saw this in the store and tried it on the first time and saw it in like natural light, that's when I was like, actually, I got it. I was like, this is such a unique color, and like the tone of the color is so interesting. And I think this is the watch that, although I've photographed, you know, all of these watches, and I had started taking photos of watches before I got this one, I think this one is where I started to develop even more of my style and just like how to use more color in my photos, and because I like to have them feel fun, and like watches, they're fun. So I always like to show that.
Great.
And then this one is obviously, you know, I'm not going to say my favorite, but you know, maybe the coolest. And I really wanted to have a GMT because that's the complication that's the most useful to my life, because my family's in Florida. You know, I was, before the pandemic, traveling a lot for work. So it's like, okay, this is something that's so useful. And so you can see like the reason I have it, the bezel here, is because that's the 6-hour time difference, so that I can track like the US time zone, well, specifically Florida. And so it just, I don't know, it makes me feel like closer to home in a way when I wear that one. And also it's just such a beautiful sporty watch. Like I actually, even with, you know, like price aside, I would still pick the two-tone for this versus the full rose gold, because I think it just, like, you want to see the bezel, and that, like, to me it's like the that's my perfect watch. I would say
it's art.
That one, when I wear it, I cannot stop looking at it. And but I think the fun thing about it too is, like, for me, like, I'm not precious with my watches, so like there's scratches all over. I'm digging in the backyard with my nephews. Like, I just want to wear them and have them be, you know, this thing that I appreciate and look at and love. And that one is just perfect. It is. That one is the perfect watch, I would say.
So let's say I give you a sack of unlimited funds.
Yes.
You can buy any watch you want.
Okay.
Which one would it be then?
But see, unlimited funds, because there's like a Grail where you're like, maybe I could reach that someday, but unlimited funds is more like,
use your imagination.
Then I would probably go more like the new Vacheron 222, because I looked at the old ones and I'm like kicking myself, because there were a lot of great, like, smaller, like women's size or the ladies version in quartz that were like pretty good prices, you know, a year or two ago, and I just kept looking and thinking about it and like never pulled the trigger. And as soon as the new one was released, they all went up by, you know, 100,000 crowns, and I was like, why didn't I just get one? Because I just love the Maltese cross on it. I do think it's better in two-tone though, so maybe I just need to wait a little longer for them to re-release a two-tone. I would say that one. Also, I really love the little Langes. I think they're just so beautiful, especially the starry dial. I think it's just so cool. And then I really, on the Cartier side, I really, really want to have a Cartier, one of their Privé collections, like their highest end horology, and especially they have a dual time that I really want, because it just like, it's almost as if it's a tank and they've cut it in half and you have two different dials that you can, you know, time two different places. And I just, every time I see, I'm always on Chrono 24, that watch, I need to have it. I need to see it in person first, but you know, someday. And then a Royal Oak, I would say, just because they're awesome. But I think that's it's like the amazing thing and the hard thing about watches is that like any given day, it's something different that would be the best one or the coolest one or the most fun one to have. So yeah, if I had unlimited funds, it would be really hard to pick, I think, if it was like, okay, there's one, and you're like, do you go for the most expensive, the most wearable, the fanciest? So it's like, that would be really, really hard, but I would definitely be able to do it.
Of course. So the final question then, if your house is on fire and you only have time to pick one of those,
then I would definitely pick this one.
Yeah.
Because it's the most sentimental. The rest I love, I think they're beautiful, but I could replace them, but like this is the watch that got me into watches. It's the watch from Vu that's so special. So that would definitely be the one. The one that I went for because, you know, although it's not the most expensive, it's the most special.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but hopefully I'd grab this whole, you know, roll.
Yeah, probably.
Make sure to keep them.
Oh, and how's your Swedish then?
My Swedish is so bad.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it's non-existent, I would say. And I've been here so long, but you know, we say that we're doing everything wrong because we have our sambo, like we're both American, and then we work at Mojang Studios. The primary language is English. We don't have kids, nor do we want. So it's like we're not doing anything that like moves you more towards Swedish, and then also it's all of your fault for speaking amazing English. So yeah, it's always I can read menus because you just don't want to be asking people after 10 years like what's this food. I can read like pretty high-end menus, I would say, you know, like very different ingredients. So then because you don't want to, that's all I need to know. What the food is. Occasionally I'll look at something and like order it and then be like, oh, that's prepared in a very different way because it was like one Swedish word I had no clue about.
All right, cool. I'm gonna send you off with a little tune.
Ooh, that's so exciting.
Because you're the special guest.
Oh, thank you. This beautiful guitar too. We're actually we're very much guitar people too.
Yeah,
so
I'm collecting guitars as well. So
we have a bit of a collection at home, more than we should have for two people that aren't very good at guitar. I have too many guitars for someone who can barely play.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone too long. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away.
Nice! Wow, that was amazing. I've never been serenaded like that. Woo! So nice.
Thank you very much for being at the channel.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, I'll have to keep collecting so I can come back with like the next set.
Next set.